U.S. political, economic, and legal developments dominated headlines on Monday as the Iran war continued to shape foreign and domestic policy, while pressing issues on immigration and press freedom drew scrutiny. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt indicated that President Donald Trump is interested in urging Arab countries to shoulder some of the costs of the ongoing Iran war. Speaking at a briefing, Leavitt emphasized that discussions with Tehran are progressing privately, despite public statements by Iran being at odds with its private commitments.
Back during the Persian Gulf War, 1990-1991, Arab countries paid for the vast majority of the cost of the war. Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, the UAE. Who's paying for the cost of this war? Will those Arab countries step up to do just that?
Well, I think it's something the president would be quite interested in calling them to do. I won't get ahead of him on that, but certainly it's an idea that I know that he has and something that I think you'll hear more from him on.
Earlier on Monday, Trump warned that Iran's energy infrastructure could face destruction if it failed to reopen the Strait of Hormuz following missile attacks on Israel, highlighting rising tensions in the region. Meanwhile, U.S. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell signaled a cautious approach to the economic impact of the conflict. Speaking to a macroeconomics class at Harvard University, Powell said the Fed would wait and see how rising oil prices affect inflation and employment. He noted that inflation expectations remain anchored in the long term, but acknowledged that policymakers would monitor the evolving situation closely as the war enters its second month and petrol prices hover around $4 per gallon. In domestic developments, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement reported the death of Mexican immigrant José Guadalupe Ramos in custody at the Adelanto ICE Processing Center, marking at least 14 deaths in ICE detention so far in 2026. Ramos, arrested in February, had underlying health conditions, and his death underscores ongoing criticism of the agency's detention practices, which have surged under Trump's mass deportation initiative. On the legal front, U.S. District Judge Paul Friedman sharply questioned the Pentagon over restrictions on journalists covering military operations. Friedman raised concerns that the Department of Defense's revised rules violate his earlier ruling protecting press freedom, including requirements for escorts, limits on source anonymity, and prohibitions on soliciting information. The dispute reflects ongoing tensions between national security considerations and constitutional protections for news gathering, with major media outlets, including the New York Times, challenging Pentagon policies in court. Together, these developments highlight the U.S. grappling with the fallout of the Iran war abroad, rising energy costs, challenges in immigration policy, and the balance between security and civil liberties at home.